As a lot of you already know, Miyamoto and I are best friends. In fact, every Sunday we get together and we have brunch down the road at a little place that does excellent eggs. And every time we hang out, he gives me another damn 3DS game to review. That's right, Nintendo keeps sending me damn games to review on the channel, plus so many of them are RPGs, there's no way that I can get around to doing all separate videos on all of these games. So I'm going to try and squish them into one video right now and talk about a bunch of games that I'm really enjoying for the 3DS. This is 5 of the newest 3DS games worth buying. So without further ado, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing down below. It means a lot to me. Let's start this video. Now, somewhat of a spoiler alert, I actually really enjoy almost every game on this list, and a couple of them have really surprised me. In fact, Monster Hunter Stories was probably one of, if not the most surprising to me. I've never really been huge into the Monster Hunter games. I've never really satisfied that urge that I desire in a game, that grinding, taking down big enemies with slow-ass combat. It's never really been for me. I'm not discrediting the games, it's just not my style. I don't play things like Dark Souls for the same reason. Everything's so slow and clunky, and I know that's a style that people enjoy, but for whatever reason it's never really clicked with me. So I wasn't really interested in picking up Monster Hunter Stories, but then it wound onto my lap, I decided to play it, and I fell in love. This game isn't like anything else I've played Monster Hunter. It is its own thing, and honestly, it's kind of like a smesh? I'm gonna stick with it. A smesh between Ocarina of Time and Pokemon. Now, loosely, with Monster Hunter elements mixed in between, but that's what it felt like when I was playing it. I felt like I was going on an Ocarina-style adventure. The world reminds me so much of Hyrule, going out into the fields, going out and riding my horse, but in this case, a monster, out in the big, lush green fields, going here and there and everywhere to complete quests, but the thing that kind of takes it away from Zelda is the combat and the collecting Pokemon style, monsters style gameplay. It's an RPG game that's honestly very heartwarming. I love the story. I was actually getting really stuck into the story. It's adorable. The characters are so bright with such big personalities. There's actually some moments in the game that hit you harder than I expected. Some moments where I actually felt really bad for the characters. I felt really sorry for them. And then moments where I felt really happy for them. I was getting really involved in the story, which was great. The combat's based on rock, paper, scissors style gameplay, where you need to kind of get a feel for what your opponent's going to do and then use the move that will counter that. And that sounds kind of simple, but it can get complex, especially when you throw in a bunch of other stuff that's going on around that, like choosing skills or filling up the kinship meter, which sort of turns into a special finisher type thing. There's over 100 eggs to collect and hatch in the game, and collecting doubles aren't a bad thing. Unlike in Pokemon, when you collect a double of a Pokemon, you're kind of just stuck with this double. In this game, you can take the monsters you have doubles of and you can splice them into other monsters and you can beef them up and they can get different abilities that way. It's pretty cool. It kind of makes it so when you hatch something you already have, it's not a total disappointment. You can still use that in some way. So it's a Monster Hunter game that you don't need to grind in, but you'll probably find yourself doing it anyway. Because it's just fun to play the game. It's fun to get involved. It's about 50 hours and it's really not that hard. The biggest challenge is going to come from maybe PvP battles, but definitely from trying to collect all the different kind of monsters or monsties that there are in the game. Adorable, cute, big adventure, lots of fun for the whole family. I recommend checking it out and trying it. I really do. It will surprise you. I was hooked from the start, and I still can't wait to finish it. I haven't finished it yet. I know that's bad, but I have a lot on this list to play. I was actually sent this one a while ago, back when I was sent Hey Pikmin. I decided to play and review Hey Pikmin instead, because I thought, Hey Pikmin, that wasn't intentional, because I thought, hey, Pikmin, that'll be a good idea, that'll be something that's fun to play, and I thought it'd be better than this. I just thought I'd enjoy it more because I was familiar with the franchise, and I put this on the back burner. I picked it up and I started playing it recently, and I was very impressed. I was actually surprised that I ended up enjoying this way more than Hey Pikmin. Don't judge a book by its cover. For such a cute, lighthearted looking game, it has a really dark twist. The bad guy in this game, which we'll get to how that's kind of dealt with in a second, and it's kind of cool, steals the faces of all the other characters in the game, and you have to go around getting their faces back. And it's kind of creepy when you think about it, especially when you come across the monsters in the field that you're taking down and battling. They all have parts of the faces that they have captured. You got to kill them and get the faces back. It's really a creepy concept, but I like it a lot, and it puts a slightly dark twist on the game. Now, the best part about the game is that almost every NPC character in the game is made up from Miis. Now, for a lot of them, they're randomized Miis, and you'll come across a lot of the creations in the world. Like, there was a little kid that I had to save his face, and he was a Magikarp, which was the weirdest thing. But when it comes to your party and the main bad guys and a lot of the integral characters in the game, you can actually pick their faces out of a bunch of pre-created Miis. And what I mean by that is the bad bad guy in the game, as I mentioned before, the first time I met him in the game, it gave me the option of picking him. I had an option of picking either Weird Al Yankovic or Sting. I ended up going with The Undertaker because I figured that what's more fitting for a bad guy than The Undertaker, especially when he's taking a bunch of faces. The overweight king in the game, I made Michael Jackson because, you know, the king. The prince, I made Vegeta, Prince of All Saiyans. The princess, I made Judge Judy because why not? Princess Judge Judy, she looked glamorous. And so on. But when it comes to your party, I really recommend making your party up of your friends. People that you know, friends, family, anything like that. The kind of people that you know in real life. Because these characters in the game, they go on these big journeys together and they actually build friendships. And the bigger and better their friendships, and the more you build their friendships and level them up, the more they start interacting outside of battles, the more they start talking to each other, giving each other's gifts, and it leads to some really funny moments. Especially when you imagine them being you and your friends in real life doing these things. Like at one point, I made my party Billy, Eric, and Sean Long. I think at one point Billy gave me a guitar as a present, and I was like, you know, it was this big happy moment in this room, and thank you, Billy, for giving me this present. But then Sean Long was watching out through the window and getting all jealous, and it's such a perfect representation of real life. I just couldn't believe how fun. I was crying. I was sat at bed at night crying at this stupid me game. I was having so much fun with it. It was weird. The game is just full of so much personality. When you pick your classes, you don't pick the typical warrior or mage or something like that. You pick between cook and pop star. The whole point around the game is sort of based on a novelty, you could say, but honestly, the novelty starts to wear off over time and just become, you just kind of accept it, and it kind of is what it is. You're playing as these me characters. You are saving Princess Judge Judy with your friend 8-Bit Eric. Honestly, the battles are pretty fun. It's turn-based RPG style battles. The most fun comes from the fact that you can play with friends and you can make the bad guys whoever you want to make them. The only thing I really don't like about the game is the armor choices and the weapon choices. They look terrible. You're gonna have your friends dressed up as a bee for half the game, and it kind of ruins it a little bit. It's a little too cutesy for me, but apart from that, I actually had a decent amount of fun. If you can pick this up cheap, I highly recommend it. Now, a couple weeks before it came out, I was given a code for Minecraft on 3DS. Now, don't hate me, because I know Minecraft has a huge fan following, and so many people love this game. The game is on everything now. No matter how many times I've tried to play it, I just cannot get stuck into it. The most fun I have playing the game is when Nintendo invited me to go to Nintendo headquarters in Seattle, and I played the new Mario mashup pack for the Wii U version of Minecraft. That was a lot of fun, and I understood it then, but apart from that, I've never been able to jump in behind it. So I didn't want to review this myself and say something stupid because I don't understand the game fully. So I've enlisted the help of a good friend. Speaking of 8-Bit Eric, he's going to help me review this game right now, so cut to 8-Bit Eric.
Today I'm going to talk about Minecraft on the 3DS. The 3DS edition just came out, which it's kind of a little late in my opinion. Minecraft has basically been on everything from your tablets and your smartphones to your consoles. Even on the Wii U it came out kind of late, and just recently came out on the Nintendo Switch and now on the 3DS. It plays exactly like you would expect, except one little downside to it is that the draw distance and the size of the worlds in Minecraft might not be as big as you would expect from a console game. But you have to remember, the main demographic that they're catering for Minecraft on the 3DS is children. Is it the best version that you could probably get currently on a Nintendo system? I would probably say no. I would lean towards the Nintendo Switch version, since you could play it both portably and on your TV, but that's besides the point. Minecraft is still just as fun as ever to play on your 3DS, and being able to implement 2 screens at once without having to go to a pause menu. You could just use the lower screen to access your inventory and everything else that you need in the game is actually pretty neat. You weren't able to do that exactly with any other versions of this, and it's about time that the 3DS actually got to indulge in some of that Minecraft goodness. I mean, it's not as expensive as most other games. It's Minecraft, so it's kind of a little discounted price. It's worth a look on it. I mean, especially if you don't have a Switch and you don't have a Wii U and you're a Nintendo person, I guess pick it up on the 3DS. And with that, I'm out.
Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and Bowser's Minions is a really long title of a really fun game. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I would. I've actually put off playing any of these games for the longest time. This one is a remake of the original Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, which was on GBA, which was praised and apparently a lot of fun. And this one updates the graphics, updates the sprites, gives it a whole new look, adds in an extra mission or two, adds in a ton of new gameplay and polishes it around the edges. But overall, it's a definitive way to play that original game on GBA. So I've been told, or so I've heard, because again, I haven't played any of them before this one. I dived into this and I was immediately swept up in it. And the thing that stood out to me the most in this game, beyond the fact that I was playing a Mario RPG, which is something I haven't done since Mario RPG, and it was something that I didn't realize I was missing and lacking in my life. I didn't even think about it. There's been about 11 Mario RPGs now. I'm way behind the curve. Here I am sat down thinking, gee, will they ever make another Mario RPG like the one on Super Nintendo? They've made 11. But the thing that really shines in this game to me is just the relationship between the brothers Mario and Luigi. You think about Mario and Luigi, you hear about that all the time. Super Mario, Mario and Luigi, the Mario brothers. But almost every game you play, they have no personality. They just kind of are who they are. Unless you play a Mario game, or maybe Luigi's Mansion or something like that, in most games, their personalities don't really get a chance to shine. They really shine in this. And it's not only just their individual personalities shining, it's seeing the brothers go to work. It's seeing the brothers team up and their relationship together. Their little jokes that they have with each other, the way they fight with each other, the way they fight the enemies with each other, just the way they work as a team. This is Mario and Luigi being Mario and Luigi in a way that you don't get to see in any other game. And I think that's what I love the most about it. Secondly, I love just the control scheme in this game is really creative. You control Mario with A and Luigi with B, so almost everything in the game, from walking around the overworld map and you press A to jump with Mario, B to jump with Luigi, and there's a button to jump with both of them. Or when you're in battles, you use A to do everything Mario in battles and B to do everything Luigi in battles. It's really creative and I like it a lot. Also, the battling and the RPG mechanics in this are awesome. It's very Paper Mario, it's very how these games have been for a while. But the thing that I like about it is if you get good at mastering the timing of the battles and learning all the enemies and how they move and react, you could actually go through the game without taking any damage. If you get really good at the battle system, you can just ace it without taking a single hit. And while that can become easy, it also rewards being good at the game. It rewards learning how to play and developing your skills. Engaging and fun gameplay, timeless music, and the sprites just look so great. I love what they did with the game, especially when you look at the worlds and the maps that you're on, just the graphical upgrade between the last one and this, and even if you don't know what the old one looks like, I just love the style. It's fantastic, and if you dive into this game, it has so much to offer. I do recommend picking this one up, but it's not my favorite game on the list. My favorite game I'm saving till last, but I have one more before that. For those of you counting at home, isn't that 6 games and not 5? Yes, but 5 sounds better in the title. Plus, who's going to be disappointed that I put an extra game on the list? That's more bang for your buck. You didn't even know that this was happening. This is a surprise for you. You should be excited. I'm stupid. But another reason why I'm doing 6 is because 2 of these games I'm passing off on to friends. Samus Returns. Good God, I can't wait to play this game. I still haven't touched it. It's still sealed. A huge thank you again to Doug, one of my Patreons, for sending me this for my birthday, which now is 10 days ago, and I still haven't played it. I went on a big road trip to Connecticut for Retro World Expo, and you think that'd be a perfect time to play games, but instead I edited in the car, and I still haven't had a chance to play it. So a video about recent newest 3DS games worth playing, this one needs to be mentioned, because I don't even have to play it to know that it's amazing. But someone that has played it and does know how amazing it is Sean Long from Retro Gaming Tube 85. So once again, I'm enlisting help from a friend, and I'm going to shift this video over to him so he can help out. So thank you, Sean.
Nintendo had a fantastic E3 2017, but the biggest announcement was something that didn't even happen during their E3 presentation, in my opinion. It was something that happened during the Treehouse event, and that was Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS. And we were getting a Metroid game for the 3DS just 3 months after E3 2017. Metroid Samus Returns is a reimagining of Metroid 2, which released on the Game Boy in 1991. And unfortunately, Metroid 2 was one of those games that Nintendo just seemed to have forgotten about. The original Metroid got a remake on the Game Boy Advance, but Metroid 2, the one game that actually needed a remake to add some color into it, never seemed to get one. Sure, you could play Metroid 2 on the Super Game Boy and add some custom color, but still, the way it was intended to be played was on a monochrome screen, and while it was great, it definitely needed a bit of an overhaul for modern gamers to really enjoy it. And thankfully, Metroid Samus Returns is that modern coat of paint that we have been looking for. Samus is sent to a planet that is overrun by Metroids and she must eliminate them all, and Samus Returns is a 2D returned to its roots for the Metroid franchise. After the debacle of Metroid Prime Federation Forces, many Metroid fans were afraid that the series was just going to sort of end or become, more obscure than it already was, but Samus Returns is an excellent return to form for the series. Samus has new abilities and new suits, such as a melee attack that really adds to the game. The game is pretty difficult, but I like that. It's definitely rooted in that retro style of gaming. The game looks fantastic as well. Some of the environments are simply breathtaking. The 3D effects are really done well, and there's lots of cool stuff going on in the background. Little details and intricacies that really make this game stand out. It's definitely probably going to be one of the greatest games on the 3DS. It's definitely one of my favorite games of 2017. And if you're a 3DS owner, a Metroid fan, if you're both, you should have already bought this. But if for some reason you haven't checked it out, you should definitely check out Metroid Samus Returns. It's only about a 10-hour game, but you're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's a very good looking game and a very fun game, and a game that I'm glad Nintendo released for the 3DS.
You guys ready for this? The last game on the list is by far my favorite game on the list, and it completely took me off guard. It completely blew me away. I didn't play the first one because I just didn't really have an interest. I'm a Pokemon boy, not a Yokai Watch boy. I didn't really know what this was all about. It looked very cutesy, it looked very Pokemon rip-off-y, and it's not that I didn't refuse to touch it, it's not like I took a stance against it or anything. It just never really came across my desk. I never picked it up, I never had a chance to play it, I never even looked at any gameplay of it. I knew nothing about it until I was sent this. And I decided to play it, and holy crap, it's my favorite game on this whole damn list. I've been playing it non-stop. I've played it more than anything else I've talked about so far today. I'm addicted to it. I like it a lot, and there's a lot of reasons why, and I want to talk about it, so I'm gonna move on because I'm rambling. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Is it a Pokemon ripoff? I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah. There's so many similarities. I'm not even sure what the story is behind this game, or if it was ever intended to be a ripoff of Pokemon or be like Pokemon. It definitely borrows so many elements from the game, and there's definitely so many parallels. But I believe it stands out on its own right for so many reasons. The first thing that really took me back and made me just fall in love with the game was the fact that you don't start in this little town and then go off on this big adventure. You are in this big, huge-ass town, this city, with a lot of different parts to it, a lot of different areas to explore, for parks, shops, houses, downtown areas, uptown areas, just so many different places you can explore. It really does feel like you're just in this house, in this little house, in this big city, and you go out and explore, and you find yokai, and you try and befriend them, and get them on your team, and you just sort of help people on their day-to-day lives, doing their day-to-day activities. The yokai sort of just mess things up for everyone. It's sort of like there's reasons why everything is happening to us as a civilization, and it's usually because of yokai. Have you ever walked past a store and decided out of nowhere, oh, I'm hungry, I should jump in there and get some food? That's because there was a yokai there who kind of has this weird psychic thing about hunger, and he made you feel hungry and you went inside. But you don't know he's there, you can't see him because you don't have the yokai watch, which this kid has. So the kid goes around, finds the yokai that are doing these things, ruining people's lives, ruining people's days. They battle them, calm them down, become their friends, get them on their party, and then they go find more yokai. I find the humor in this game is a lot more adult than Pokemon. They're able to say and do a lot more things, because I feel like Pokemon has a lot of eyes on it to stay child friendly, whereas this sort of has that Nicktoons sort of feel about it, where it can say a little bit more, it can imply a little bit more, it has a little bit more innuendos. I like that the yokai don't really have any sort of theme. You know, you kind of always tell a Pokemon by looking at it. Even if you've never seen the Pokemon before, you can kind of be like, that looks like a Pokemon. Not in this game. In this game, it can be a dog with a grumpy old man face, or it can be just this fat cone man with a weird squished up face, or it can be a tiny cat looking thing, it can be a stick man with a broom, it can be a big mush, fleshy pink, Jabba the Hutt looking thing. They all look so different and so weird and so creepy. In fact, befriending old men and getting them on my team to fight for me is one of the weirdest things I've done in a kid's game. I guess if I'm being picky, the thing I don't like about the game is the combat is really easy. You have your team of 6 just like Pokemon, but rather than switching one out at a time, you have 3 that battle at a time, but you have all 6 access to you, and you can move a wheel at the bottom of the screen and you can switch out another 3 or a combination of as many as you want. At the touch of the stylus, you can just keep going like that. There's no real pausing the battle or stopping the battle. It's all in real time. They just kind of fight each other and you have no control over the actual fighting. What you do have control over is switching out, trying to heal, using items, and then using their special abilities. You can use one special ability at a time, and they can range from cursing the enemies, to attacking the enemies, to healing your allies. So while they're fighting and doing their own thing, you're trying to sit back and manage the battles, micromanage the battles, and take care of everyone and make sure everyone stays alive. It's kind of a weird concept, and sometimes it is way too easy. Battles will end before you even get to do anything, but then other times they'll be a little bit more complex. I found myself losing battles that were too hard, but that's more of a case of me not being leveled up enough. There's kind of a give and take in the gameplay. It's definitely different. It definitely does mix it up. It makes it feel even more further removed from a Pokemon game, which I think it does need something like that. But despite all the similarities, I don't think they can even be compared. I think this really does stand up in its own weird, wacky way, and I recommend giving it a shot and trying it out. It definitely surprised me, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It kind of feels like when I was a kid and I found Pokemon for the first time. Now Pokemon's always the same. I'm always going on a very similar Pokemon adventure. I know what to expect. This is like I've got a new Pokemon game and I have no idea what to expect, and it keeps surprising me. Try it out. I don't think you'll regret it, especially if you're already a Pokemon fan. Okay, Miyamoto, I did it. I reviewed all the games. You can't be mad at me this week at Weekend Brunch. Please leave me alone now. Stop sending me angry emails. I love the 3DS, man. The 3DS is just the best library, I swear to God. Such a huge, amazing, expansive library that they're still putting out a ton of amazing games now, and I don't even know what's coming in the future, but I'm sure a ton more. There's never a bad time to pick up a 3DS. There really isn't. These were just 6 of the games that came out recently, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you're going to pick any of these up, if you already have any of them and you're enjoying them, or if there are any more new 3DS games that I missed. Remember to hit like on this video, be subscribed because we become best friends, and I want to give a huge thank you to Sean Long and 8-Bit Eric for helping me out with this video. Check them out down below. That's all I have to say, guys. I'm gonna go and play some VR right now because I haven't played video games since I've been back from my road trip. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here with me and helping this channel become as amazing as it is because of how amazing you guys are. And I'm just gonna go because I'm thirsty and I just bought organic coffee and I want to drink it. So, I mean, goodbye.
So hey guys, what's up? It's 8-Bit Eric. In case you don't know who I am, real quick, I usually talk about Nintendo related content. A little bit of a Nintendo fanboy, if you will. Nah, I'm just kidding. But I've done retro, PS4, Xbox, Steam, all of that good stuff.